Digimon Liberator has been going for a little while now, and semi-regularly, we've been getting brand new Digimon introduced. Whether it's the new Digimon partners and their evolutions, or brand new evolutions for existing Digimon. And this week, we got Dimetromon, very cute, very cool evolution of Elizamon, it kind of looks like Miles Edgeworth, and then something mysterious called Maquinamon. Wait a minute, is that an Applink? Oh, we gotta talk about this.
It's Karn Spooktober Spectacular. What a...
Not the beast!
Well, you won't be seeing me next time when we go digital.
What is up, spooky companions, and welcome back to Karn Spooktober Spectacular, and what an appropriate month for them to drop Maquinamon on us. So to catch you up, if you're not familiar, Digimon Liberator is the brand new webcomic and novel series for Digimon. I've heard rumor it was pitched as an anime, but they decided to go with a web novel because of budget reasons, and honestly, I'm loving Digimon Liberator so far. Digimon Liberator, the comic, updates every 2 weeks, and this week we'll get introduced to something called Maquinamon, that the debug team, the group of humans in Lacuna, the digital world of Digimon Liberator, are hunting down these Maquinamon, trying to round them up, and so far they've managed to round up 10. And this is incredible because this is the first time outside of China currently that we have seen a brand new Digimon with what looks exactly like the Applink from Digimon Universe Apply Monsters. If you're an Appmon fan, if you're an existing Digimon fan, bear with me for a minute, but basically Appmon was a kind of attempt to reinvigorate and reboot the franchise, kind of like a step one, a return to roots. Instead of being based on like computer data, generally Appmon were very specifically based on app data. You had Gatchmon, which is like a search engine, you have Tubamon, which is kind of like Twitter, and so on. And the thing that made them stand out, the thing that made them a little bit different to Digimon other than being based on apps, was their method of digivolution, which was Appgatai. And almost all Appmon had these two lugs that they could use to Applink with. And wouldn't you know it, this brand new Digimon, Maquinamon, has one, as well as a tail. Half of its body to me looks like a diminutive Angoramon mixed with some Meikumon vibes, but the other half is fully robotic. Now, as of time of recording, we do not know anything about Maquinamon, its level, its type, its attribute, its special moves. The only description we have is that it is a new type of Digimon first encountered in Lacuna. As it does not speak, no one has been able to learn anything about it. So what we have is that they are rounding up these Maquinamon. Final Fantasy X fans, you probably already know what its root origin is, but Machina comes from Spanish and Portuguese, meaning machine. Gee, I wonder if Digimon's kind of shouting out the Latin American and Spanish-speaking Digimon communities more in recent years. Could just be me. I, of course, know the term Machina from, well, Deus Ex Machina, but also Machina from Final Fantasy X. Something else that's interesting, when you go to digimoncard.com/Digimon_Liberator and check out the character section, when you look at other characters, they all have these kind of like descriptive quotes. Omekamon says, "Good morning, cool boy. Your schedule for today is as follows," because that's kind of the thing that Omekamon would say in the webcomic. Cool boy himself says, "Now let's talk about what's going to happen next." But when we get to Maquinamon, it's jumbled. It's completely glitched out. I think this means that Maquinamon is eventually going to speak. One of the Maquinamon we encounter is going to have the ability to speak. This is all glitched out, I think, because they are hiding what it's about to say that may be relevant to the plot. Of course, there's no way they're making a Digimon like Maquinamon and not making it very essential to what's going to happen in Digimon Liberator going forward. The design is literally a half and half organic and mechanical looking Digimon. In my opinion, this may be literal human interference. That's my headcanon, that originally there was a full body Maquinamon, and it's been kind of augmented to become robotic, to become, well, more like an Appmon, acting like an app in the Lacuna world, in the Digimon Liberator servers. But let's put away hypothesis and theory for a second, because I want to dive more into what this Appmon connection might mean. For a while, Appmon was really kind of ignored. It obviously didn't do as well as they'd hoped, I guess, and so when they rebooted Digimon Adventure, went into Ghost Game, focused on things like Kizuna and Tri, you could see them pulling away from Appmon. Appmon weren't officially Digimon. They still technically aren't officially Digimon. They're like a subspecies or a sister species. But in Digimon web art, over the past year, we've had Appmon included. When we got the big art showcasing all the Digimon anime, naturally, as they should have, they included Haru and Gatchmon. Digimon Liberator started earlier this year, and while Liberator was happening, in June this year, Digimon added every single Appmon to their own encyclopedia section of the website. Now, this is notable. They were not added to the Digimon reference book, they were given their own Appmon encyclopedia encyclopedia separate. So this does indicate to me that Digimon and Appmon are separate creatures still. Admittedly, the line is blurring day by day. And looking at the encyclopedia entry for Gatchmon, you can see these two Applinks just like the one Applink or Applink-like thing that Maquinamon has. But Maquinamon, as I alluded to at the start, is not the only Digimon to have one of these. Because in Digimon New Century, the Chinese exclusive mobile game, they've been adding brand new Digimon based on Chinese mythology. And in the last year, we got Takutomon, based on another Chinese deity. But what was very interesting is that on Takutomon's shoulder was this little mouse whose tail, once again, incredibly resembled an Applink. This little creature is known as Paishu. It is not technically a Digimon, it's more like a digital life form, similar to things like Yggdrasil and the D-Reaper, and indeed things like the Digi-Elves. But it having an Applink tail to me very much speaks to the idea that we're starting to merge Appmon and Digimon into something kind of in the middle. Digimon on one side, Appmon on one side, and new creatures in the middle. I do not think this means that Appmon are suddenly going to become regular Digimon. They're not going to be treated the same as regular Digimon. Their evolution just makes them a little bit different. My personal opinion is it doesn't need to, but I also do think this is very intentional. Bandai Namco are not stupid. The design team at Digimon are not stupid. They could make the designs of these tails anything they wanted to, but to specifically make Paishu and Maquinamon's tails be so similar to Applinks, I think is gotta be intentional. There's no way they're doing this and going, oh right, they do look similar. They want you to think of Appmon when they show you these Digimon. They want you to think there's something a little different. Paishu, a digital life form, Maquinamon, a weird half-organic, half-robotic Digimon. Indeed, when you look at Maquinamon, its organic side has a regular tail, but its robotic, perhaps man-made or interfered with side has an Applink, similar to how real apps inform the Appmon in Digimon Universe Apply Monsters. And that's something else which I think makes them these kind of middle ground beings. Digimon have no Applinks. Appmon usually have two Applinks, but Paishu and Maquinamon in the middle as weird new creatures have one Applink each, meaning that they're not really falling into a category as Digimon or as Appmon. There's something in between, and I think that's again intentional. Bandai is introducing us to this idea of Digimon that kind of split the spectrum, meaning that Digimon and Appmon may not be so different after all. And every art we've seen of Maquinamon so far makes sure that we see that Applink cable, or at least the cable that looks like an Applink, front and center, even when we don't really see its organic tail. And the thing is, even if Maquinamon and Paishu and Takutomon aren't meant to be an indication that Appmon are suddenly going to get folded into Digimon, we're going to see Appmon in the card game, Liberator, Appmon on more V-Pets and stuff. Applinks were also the one reason that a lot of people said that Appmon could never be integrated into the Digimon main universe or the main multiverse. Having the two Applinks, they were like, oh, well, you can't Applink between an Appmon and a Digimon. I always just said, just make official art where you've removed the Applinks and make them regular Digimon, but Digimon Creative have gone even crazier with it, making Digimon that have Applink cables, meaning that old saying that, oh, well, they'll never fold Appmon into Digimon because Appmon have these cables, well, now regular Digimon seemingly do too. Now, technically, we don't know what Maquinamon is. It does have a mon suffix, but so do Appmon, so likely it is just a regular Digimon, but it could also be a digital life form somewhere in between, like a Diginome or Neo from the Digimon Next manga, or even like Kalumon, which while it is a Digimon, it's kind of the most digital life form-esque Digimon we saw at that point in Digimon. Its name is Kalumon, it's got a mon suffix, but it's the living embodiment of Digivolution energy, ostensibly, so it's kind of also a digital life form. But something that I haven't really seen a lot of other people talk about is that there is more to Digimon Liberator than just the comic and the novel. There is also the tips and columns section. In between weeks, there will be columns that will give you tips and information about the world of Digimon Liberator, but they're not all just factual. Some of them are kind of like a story within themselves, and in the first one, Tips 01, we are treated as if we are visiting Lacuna, the world of Digimon Liberator ourselves. We are actually players in the game as we're reading this column. It's kind of an ARG style setup. And in that first tips, we are told we're an explorer from an extraterrestrial survey team. Our sole mission is to determine whether Lacuna is suitable for immigration from our dying home planet. We successfully land on the Emerald Coast, the least dangerous area of Lacuna. There you encounter Machina, a robot on the brink of shutdown. After you succeed in communicating, Machina follows its final program directive, entrusts to the last one you speak with, and hands you several cards. These are cards of digital monsters, Digimon, the original species that once ruled Lacuna. Machina informs you that these cards can temporarily unleash the sealed Digimon, granting various benefits to the user. While it remains uncertain if the inhabitants of this world will accept your kind, these Digimon cards could provide leverage in negotiations. With those final words, Machina's power is exhausted and it falls silent. Holding the Digimon cards entrusted to you by Machina, you commence your investigation of this world. That is the plot line of Digimon Liberator, and yet, when we see everyone else boot into Digimon Liberator in the comic, we don't see them encounter Machina. What we have seen them now encounter as a debug team are Maquinamon. Now, admittedly, it's spelled different, M-A-K-I-N-A, M-A-Q-U-I-N-A, but it's almost certainly got the same root word, and it feels like it's no coincidence to me that Machina and Maquinamon exist in the same world. So in Digimon Liberator, we now have Maquinamon, something that apparently is like an error, a bug that the debug team are trying to sort out, but also we know from very much the beginning, Tips 01, there has been a robot called Machina. Perhaps that robot side of Maquinamon is Machina, but there is this original Digimon that it merges with to become Maquinamon. Almost like a kind of Five Nights at Freddy's situation with two souls in one body maybe. So I'm excited about what this means for Digimon Liberator as a story, but I'm also excited for what this might mean kind of metatextually for the future of Digimon. We now have two Digimon in the space of basically a year that have Applink on their designs. We have Appmon being added to the Digimon reference book. The upcoming set BT21 is kind of covering, it says, the history of Digimon anime, much like the history of Digimon anime picture we got, which included Haru and Gatchmon. There's a very good chance that at some point in the near future, Appmon are going to debut in the Digimon card game, and Digimon Liberator is the Digimon product which is pushing the Digimon card game heavily right now. It is the Digimon card game web novel. It's basically the Digimon card game anime. It makes a ton of sense to me as well that Maquinamon would be a special card, like a white card with no level or something like that, and that maybe it would allow you to kind of merge or synergize Appmon cards with regular Digimon cards. How interesting would it be to have Appmon on the field that can only Applink with other Appmon cards that have Appmon in their traits, and then Digimon that can only obviously Digivolve from regular Digimon. Appmon maybe having a grade instead of a level, and Maquinamon being able to bridge the two so that you can play regular Digimon and Appmon in the same deck. I'm just spitballing here, but when I saw this Applink on Maquinamon, I got super excited, and I got excited enough with Taketomon, so now I'm just like infinite possibilities. Maybe I'm overhyping this, maybe this is going to mean nothing, and it very well could mean nothing, but I've been right a lot of times so far, and I'm hoping I'll be right again, you know, time after time. Let me know your thoughts on Maquinamon, Dimetromon, sorry I didn't talk about Dimetromon much, and of course this whole Appmon, Applink Digimon thing that we got going on right now. If you want to know more of my thoughts on the new Digimon from Digimon Liberator, I did do a video on Patreon going over them, just because I didn't think I had a lot for the main channel that could really grab a lot of people. If you want to become a Patreon, you can do that for as little as $3 over on patreon.com/Karn EX, get early access to all my videos, including ones like this. Thank you to my sovereigns, EDK14, as well as everyone else who supports this channel with their hard-earned money, including my YouTube channel members, and I'll see you all next time when we go spooky. Bye bye!